Sure.
All right. So they're dividing. So what do I have to do?
Multiply.
Good.
Like
And what do I do first? This or this?
The division thing.
It's the adding or subtracting we always do first. So they're adding 5, we subtract 5.
No, you subtract it.
Anything we do to one side, we do to the other. This cancels each other out. What's left on this side is y over -6. And then we solve this. 9 minus 7 is 2. And then remember, if you are multiplying or dividing by a negative number, you flip the inequality sign. So we are going to be multiplying by a -6. That means we have to flip the inequality sign to y is greater than -12. The only time we flip this is when we're multiplying or dividing by a negative number. I know you said you weren't graphing, but just I'm going to teach you to graph anyway. So we would put the -12, and then it would be an open circle because there's no, and then equal to. And then my arrow would go the same direction of my inequality sign. The only time that is not true is when the y or the x is on this side. Then we would flip it to the other side. But if this y or x is on this side, then it goes the same direction of our inequality.
Okay.
For this one, they're subtracting 4, so we add 4. Anything we do to one side, we do to the other. What's left on this side is 2v. What's left on this side is 12. They're multiplying by 2. I divide by 2. If it was a -2, then I would flip my inequality, but it is not, so I keep it the direction that it is going. What's left on this side is v, what's left on this side is 6, and then to graph my inequality, I would go this side. This would be filled in because it's n equal to, and that would be my graph.
Cool.
When I have something like this, I have to distribute the 3 to everything inside the parentheses, and I have a two-sided equation, right? So we have a lot going on here, so there's going to be a few steps. First step is always to distribute. So you distribute the 3 here. 6a minus 3 times -1 is -3, is more than or equal to 10a minus 11. We have to get this over here, and we have to get this over here. So the first step is to minus 10a. Anything we do to one side, we do to the other. That cancels each other out. What's left on this side is -11. And then what's left on this side is -4a minus 3. They're subtracting 3, so we add 3. Anything we do to one side, we do to the other. We have a negative and a positive, so we subtract the integers, and the biggest integer wins the sign. So my answer is negative, and 11 minus 3 is 8. And then on this side, we have -4a. They're multiplying by -4, so I divide by -4. Anything I do to one side, I do to the other. What's left on this side is a. We have a negative, and we're dividing. 2 negatives make a positive. 8 divided by 4 is 2. So my answer is +2. And then to graph it, I put my number line. We have a 2. I fill it in because it is an or equal to. And look at this. I have to switch this because I divided by a -4. So I have to switch my inequality. And so my arrow goes this way.
Well, you have a tiring voice.
A tiring voice?
Yeah.
That's not good. I make you sleepy?
I mean, kind of.
Well, here we go. If we have a -4 and we're dividing, how's that?
Much better.
Wake
But
up!
look, my teeth are blue now.
Oh my gosh, they are very blue. Okay, we're gonna do one more. This is a crazy one. I am looking at your textbook, not the paper, so just tell me if you can't see the page.
Okay.
So for this one, we have two distributive properties, and we also have a fraction. So what we have to do here is we have to do 4 times 1/2 is 2t minus 4 times 2 is 8. And then we do is more than 2t minus 6. And then I bring my 2t over here and I bring my 8 over here and I solve. We have a different type of problem as well. And it is this one right here. So the first thing I have to do on this side is combine like terms. I have a 9j and I have a 6j. That makes 15j minus 6 is more than or equal to. Then on this side I have to distribute. 15j minus 3 times 2 is -6. And then I would do the rest of the problem. We do have no solution in these. And I think the rest looks similar. Let me just check. Yeah. So that is pretty much most of the types of problems that you're going to have in 2.4. And then let me just look.
I actually do remember him saying we're going to start doing like terms or something. And like terms are literally so easy, so I'm good on that.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
Yeah.
So a compound inequality is when your answer is basically just a subset of numbers. So sometimes it will be both of them are included. Some of them will be one of them is included. It could be either one, or both of them are open. And what that is going to look like is something like this. X is more than or equal to 3, but it is less than 8. So if we had that, we would have the number line 3, we would have the number line 8. This one would be filled in because it is an equal to. This one would not be filled in. And that means that the answer could be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and it will not include 8 because it's less than 8. And so this is what we call a compound inequality. There are a subset of answers instead of what we've normally done, which is this. There's a stop point. So if it's like this, it's called a half open interval. It could be either side, either this side or this side is open. A closed interval is when both sides are closed. And an open interval is this, when this one and this one is not included in the subset. It can also look like this. Which means there's a gap in here. It's totally fine.
Okay.
There can be a gap. So it's that anything that is more than -6 or less than -6 or whatever the number is, and anything more than 3 can be included. It's totally fine to have that.
Cool.
All right. Well, we actually salvaged this session and did something.
Instead of dancing.